Well, it's a conversation we've had before, but is it time for Auburn's head coach to give up play calling? Welcome on into the Auburn Express, powered by the War Rapport. I'm your host, Mike G. Turn us up, turn us on, turn it out. I'm here with my good friend Kyle Rush from the Barn. Go check them out for everything, man. You got a podcast, you got a message board. You guys got the whole package for Auburn fans over there. And Kyle, I'm sure this offense has been talked about quite a bit on the boards. On today's show, we're going to talk about whether it's time for Hugh Freeze to give up play calling. Can you be a head coach and a play caller in today's college football? We may have answers for you on that. In the second half, we're going to talk about Auburn's AD and whether or not he should be under fire for where Auburn is right now. Let's start at the top here. There were a lot of things I did not like about Saturday. Mainly the result. But Auburn did not amass a lot of yards Saturday. Kyle, it was absolutely pathetic. And we've got to move on, but we don't have to move on that quickly because it's a bye week. So
sure.
We get to ruminate in this for a little bit. Jackson Arnold, 18 of 33 passing for a mere 125 yards. Probably most surprising. Only 52 yards on the ground with 24 carries, and more than half of those, Jackson Arnold, and then half of those, like just him taking off because nothing's there.
Or sacks.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough watching this offense do almost nothing for 4 straight quarters. Talk to me, man, about what we saw. I felt like the play calling did not cover a line that was clearly struggling to protect in this game. A lot of slow developing plays. It was embarrassing that the announcers were calling out that Xavier Chaplin was getting his ass whooped up and down the field the whole game, and they were like, "You got to pull him. You got to do something." They did nothing. How can you do nothing?
Yeah, it was so broken on just so many. I think that's just the best way to describe it. It was just completely broken. And we can pinpoint we can try to figure out like one specific thing, but I don't even think it was one specific thing. It was a lot of things, from the quarterback sliding the protection the wrong way, from, not being able to either hear or understand what the snap count is. At least down to the offensive tackle. Like, it was just so much. It almost looked like, and I know they didn't, I know this isn't the case, but it looks like they just didn't even prepare. Like, there was no plan. But I know that's not the case. And so, like, where I've been racking my brain is like, how does what happens on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday not remotely translate to what you see on Saturday? It's like, what is going on? Like, we see them practice, like we know they're practicing. I feel pretty confident they're meeting. Like, what is happening? Why can't you do simple things? You get behind the chains. In the first 6 drives, 4 of them either had a penalty or a tackle for loss that put them at either second and long or third and beyond 10 yards, like 4 out of the first 6. It's just it's hard to even fathom how what you saw on Saturday can actually even happen with all the talent that, in my opinion, all the talent you see on the field. It's insane. We talked about Xavier Chaplin. Like, Xavier Chaplin didn't get worse when he came to Auburn. It's not like, I mean, I think Reese Dismukes pulled the stats for me. He only had 4 penalties in like 2 years at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
4 procedural penalties. He's had like 10 just this season. Like, it's not, I just refuse to believe he just all of a sudden doesn't care anymore when he's got NFL prospects coming there to see him and the chance to go in the first round in the NFL draft. I just refuse to believe he's just either A, not trying, not preparing, or I just refuse to believe he's this bad. Like it's really, really insane how poor that product was. It's one of the worst offensive performances I can really remember in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was tough. But as I mentioned, play calling certainly didn't help them. Felt like routes weren't developing downfield fast enough. Not a lot of quick pass options to get the ball out of Jackson Arnold's hands quickly and with timing. Maybe to neutralize the rush a little bit
Yeah.
here. Where is the disconnect? It feels like every Auburn coach goes through this whole play calling midlife crisis where
I know,
in the
man.
middle of the season they've got to decide to give up play calling. During Gus's tenure, it was reported that the higher ups came in and forced him to give
Yeah.
it up. You posed an interesting question before we started recording about whether or not a head coach can be a play caller, an effective play caller in today's college football. And I want to go there. Is it time? Something's got to change. We know something has to change.
Yeah.
I don't think Auburn has a player issue. And frankly,
Not at all.
I said I was adamant about this before Hugh Freeze brought this group of players in, before Cam Coleman. I'm adamant about it this year. I feel like the system is dumbing these guys down on offense. We're not seeing this on defense.
No.
Everything we hear about DJ Durkin and his system is they're organized and they are motivated and they play like it. At some point, it's really hard to believe that the play that we're seeing is not a reflection of the coaching that these guys are receiving. Is it time for Hugh Freeze to give up play calling and let somebody else get in here and dial this thing up, man? I know it's hard when you cut your teeth as a play caller, but is it time?
Yeah, look, it's honorable to want to put it all on you, and it's honorable to think that you're probably the best option on the current offensive staff to go out there and call the plays on Saturday. And I understand that mindset. I understand that's what he's done all his whole career, and I understand that when he's had the highest amounts of success, that's what's been the formula. You know, you've had the game plan crafted. He does head coaching things. He kind of pops in and out when he can. And then while he's doing wearing all the other hats that you have to wear as a head coach. And then he shows up Saturday and he's a gamer and he's ready to go. I just don't know that with the size of the game now and all of the different balls that are in the air, that it's really feasible for a guy to be able to pull that off at a very, very high level. And I'll give you a very good example. And to me, this is crazy because people talk about, the system. It's the system. And you've said it, but I don't think you mean it like the plays don't work. You know what I mean? I think it's more so like the design and crafting the idea. Let's talk about Gus Malzahn. How frustrated did we get at his quote unquote offense towards the end of his career? How not awful, but how much struggles did he have at Central Florida as the head coach and the play caller and all that good stuff? And then
UCF, Kyle. No call
UCF,
to Florida.
UCF, my bad. UCF. And then he goes to Florida State and he's only the play caller. And Mike, he's running the same stuff he ran in 2013, in 2014. He's running the end around. He's running that end around that he scored on Alabama in 2009. He's running it multiple times a game. He's running the wheel route to Boobie Whitlow and Mario Fannin, the same stuff that he ran then, but now that's all he has to focus on. He's just an offensive coach, and he's got the number one scoring offense in the country. I just wonder, man, he didn't change. He didn't come up with a new idea. He didn't really adapt. It's the same offense. It's the exact same offense, the exact same plays that we saw for years and years and years, but he's not a head coach anymore. He's just the offensive coordinator, and he's excelling. He's excelling, and he's scoring points and putting up a bunch of points on the scoreboard. The offense didn't lose the game against Virginia. They couldn't stop anything. So that's very anecdotal, but it's an example I'm kind of pointing to where it's the same exact stuff that he's always ran, but now that's all he has to focus on. And he's really good at it. He's really good at it. And he's having a lot of success at Florida State. I could be way off, but it just feels like there's a disconnect between what happens during the week and what shows up on Saturday, and it's hard for me to think. There's not a ton of examples you can point to of primary play callers that are having continued success, like year in and year out, and I think maybe that could be something that needs to be looked at. And I'm guilty of saying I wanted Hugh to call plays because I'm thinking somehow we can rekindle what happened at Ole Miss. But the game
that's
is
where
just
he's
so
comfortable. Yeah.
the game is just so different now.
Look, well said, my friend. I know it's not working. What you're doing is not working. You know that old definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you're Auburn, you're in year 3, and year 3 demands accountability because I'll say this again and again, Auburn has one of the most, if not the most amazingly loyal fan bases, despite having their hearts ripped out every season. They keep coming back every year, feeling like we're going to win the Natty this year, just to be let down and have that surprise season every 5 or 6 years. They brought in an unprecedented amount of talent. We're not at a place where you can blame the talent. You can't blame the quarterback. You've got to look within and make the changes now and quickly. Make it like your job is on the line every single weekend. Get it fixed, because it sounded dangerously like Bruce Pearl was advocating for patience, but I don't want him to feel like he has time. I want him to feel the urgency of
We're tired of being patient
now. Right. Yeah. Get it fixed now. You've got
ironically, I'm sorry to cut you off. Ironically, what it looks like is the game plans are impatient. You know, we preached patience. We're being patient in the Baylor game. They were being patient. They weren't forcing anything. They were just being patient, taking what the defense gives to them. And now all of a sudden it's like we're in panic mode and we're trying to score. We're playing like we're down by 35 points. We're not being patient. We're not running the ball. We're not getting Jackson involved in the running game in an effective manner. That's what's funny is like patience is what fired everybody up, on the way that Baylor game plan played its way out. And now we've completely lost patience. When I say we, I'm talking about Hugh Freeze and that offensive staff and Jackson Arnold on being patient and just taking what you can get versus trying to force a square peg into a round hole. I just think that I find that ironic.
Yeah, look, man, you've got 2 weeks, and this is exactly where I did not want Auburn to be. I've said from the beginning of this season, you just got to get 1 out of the first 3 to make the first half of your season a success. It's a really tough 3-game stretch. I did not want that one to be Georgia. I didn't want it to be Georgia. I don't care if
coming off a loss.
Man. Yeah, I mean, you got a bye week to regroup.
I guess you got a bye week, yeah.
This is a really, really tough task here. And Georgia, after losing to Alabama, I just don't know that I want to be in their way after their first loss of the season. So, look, Hugh's got to get it together. Hopefully Auburn Jesus will show up in 2 weeks and deliver the win of this man's tenure. Because 4-2, man, your whole season's still in front of you. I mean, everything is still in front of you at 4-2. And that's the hope that you've got to give back to Auburn fans somehow. To dial up your best game on Saturday.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be pretty. Like, it doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be like statistically what you want from a passing standpoint, from the wide receiver standpoint. I don't even think the wide receivers care that much right now. They just don't want to be embarrassed like they were on Saturday. Like, whatever happened to that Georgia and Alabama offensive game plan in 2023, where it was like, yeah, we only threw for like 125 yards, but we were really efficient. And we put ourselves in position to score some touchdowns and kick some field goals. And we dialed up a play every now and then. And then we played good defense. And you had shots to win both of those games. And one of them took a miracle play to actually lose. Instead of this trying to throw it 30, just force 35 passes into the air. Like, maybe you just got to play ugly ball. Play dirty ball, as Hugh likes to say it. Maybe that's the answer. The bad thing is you can't change a ton because he kind of boxed himself into being the play caller, because nobody on the staff really has. His offensive coordinator has never called a play in his whole career. That's Derek Nix. The only guy he's got that has any play calling experience is his quarterback's coach. So like you can't really turn the play calling over because there's nobody that has experience that's ever called plays. So he's kind of boxed himself into that. So I think where you got to start is at the freaking offensive line. Get it to where, change the way you do your cadence, change the way, whatever you have to do to stop jumping. Go on one. Hey, just go on one for the rest of the year. Let's all just go on one for the rest of the year so that we all know exactly when we're supposed to fire off the ball. Heck, that may be most of Xavier Chaplin's problem right there, is like, I don't know that I 100% know when I'm supposed to go, so I'm already a step late whenever the defensive line is firing off the ball and the ball snap. So let's start there. Let's get on the same page on the offensive line, and then just say, look, we got to come up with the dirtiest. It could be the dirtiest, the ugliest looking offense you've ever seen, but it just needs to be efficient. No, I'm sorry, not efficient. It just needs to be serviceable. Serviceable is all you need right now.
I agree with you 100%. Look, Hugh Freeze isn't the only person that needs to feel a little heat. Starting to feel like the AD needs to feel a little heat. We're going to talk about John Cohen, the man who hired the band. After a quick word from our sponsors, our friends at Ames and Associates. That's Abel's Iron Moore and Associates. Investing doesn't have to be complicated, Kyle. At Abel's Iron Moore and Associates, you get clear, straightforward advice from a team of fiduciaries who always put your interests first. They've been helping clients grow and protect their wealth since 2003 with no gimmicks and no products to sell, just disciplined investment management. Whether you're just starting out, building your portfolio, or looking to preserve wealth for the long term, AMA provides guidance tailored to your goals, giving you confidence in every final decision. Call AMA at 912-777-4128 or visit AIMC.com to see how they make investing simple and effective. The War Report has been compensated by Abel's Iron Moore and Associates for this endorsement. AMA is a registered investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. The information in this advertisement is for informational purposes only and should not be considered personalized investment advice. All investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal, and past performance is not indicative of future results. I want to thank our friends at Sky Exotics. That's Sky Tobacco and Vape. Need a smoke shop that's always close by? Sky Tobacco and Vape has you covered all over Columbus and even across the bridge in Phoenix City. Whether you're cruising down Airport Thruway or rolling along Victory Drive, make a pit stop on the 280 bypass. They've got you covered. The vape, from vapes to tobacco and everything in between, Sky Tobacco and Vape is your one-stop shop for good vibes and great deals. A swing through today. Chances are they're already on your way. Want to thank our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code Rapport to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in life, the Rogue Shop has something that has you covered. If you've got some traditional ailments and you're looking for some non-traditional remedies, the Rogue Shop could be the place for you. Longtime sponsor of the show is our guy, Richard. He's the owner there. Dropping a little some special in for everybody using code Rapport today. Visit them again, rogueshop.com. Use code Rapport to get 15% off now. Also want to thank our friends at setsforsociety.ai. The road to knowing self starts at Sets for Society. They have custom personality assessments that let you know a little bit more about how you think, how those around you think, and how you guys can form a think tank that accomplishes goals more effectively by knowing how to communicate with each other and which form of communication is most effective. Visit setsforsociety.ai to get your personalized custom personality assessment started today. We appreciate them for sponsoring this segment. Let's jump back into our conversation here. Kyle, John Cohen, the man from Mississippi State, he came to Auburn. He had one job: hire the right football coach. He said from the beginning that Hugh Freeze was his guy. He got his guy. I'm not sure I believe that Hugh Freeze was his number one on his list. It's the guy they got. But he has stood behind Hugh. I was in the old athletic department, in the old team meeting room, Kyle, waiting to go on Paul Feinbaum. I was there with Nathan King, and John went before us to talk to Paul. And he did backflips saying, hey, look, we had to replace this many players, and this is a rebuild and all this stuff, right? And it all sounded great. However, in year 3 is the year where results have to show up. Right now, the SEC is looking a lot tougher than it did at the beginning of the season. I'm not going to lie. I was very cocky about that stretch of 5 games after Georgia. Woo! Well, if the offense can get as bad as it did at Texas A&M, I don't know, Kyle. I don't feel so good about it anymore. Let's take a look here. After Georgia, this was our SEC Unfiltered Power. I'm sorry. This is our SEC Unfiltered Power rankings. You don't have Ole Miss on the schedule anymore. You just lost to A&M. Bama is your last game of the season. Georgia comes in 2 weeks. But after Georgia, you've got to play Missouri, looking a little bit tougher, right? After that, you've got Arkansas. They just fired Sam Pittman. My boy T. Will got the boot. I don't like Arkansas. I don't like Bobby Petrino. I don't care if he used to coach here. But I'm not even sure I would bag that as a win based on what we know the floor is for this offense potentially. And then you get Kentucky should be a win. Vanderbilt, I can't count that. And then Mercer. So that could be a 2-2 stretch for Auburn potentially. Yeah. If you don't get your ish together, man. I don't know what to say. I thought that those should be 5 winnable games. Like you could go, you could go 3-2, which is still pretty much a disaster in my book. If you don't beat Georgia and then you go 3-2 over that 5-game stretch, whew, boy, you are sitting with 6 losses headed into the Iron Bowl.
Man, the thing is that that offense that you saw Saturday, it ain't gonna win a single one of those games. I don't care who's fired, other than maybe Mercer. I don't see that offense, what we saw on Saturday, beating a soul left on the schedule. And that is sad. That is a sad, sad state of affairs. But it's the truth.
How responsible is Cohen for what we're seeing right now? I mean, he said a lot of things in support of this program. And I get it. It's his job. And for what it's worth, I like John Cohen a lot. We've got a good relationship. But these results demand accountability, and there are 2 guys that are responsible for where Auburn is at today, 2.5 years after Hugh Freeze arrived on the Plains. John Cohen and Hugh Freeze. We talk about Hugh Freeze. John, I got to call him to the carpet here, man.
I put 0% on John Cohen, and let me tell you why.
Okay.
Everything that Hugh has asked for, he's gotten. Okay, you went out and you bought DJ Durkin back from going to Ohio State. He was going to go to Ohio State. You paid him almost $3 million as a coordinator. You went and got Will Redmond, who's one of the best GMs in the whole business. You've continually pumped money into this off the field recruiting staff, player management staff. You've done everything to help raise funds for NIL to retain the roster. Everything you can possibly do, he's done everything he can for this coach to succeed. And it's gone, and we're going into the year 3, and then you got to make some tough decisions after this season. But as a AD, he was hired on October 22nd, and he had to hire a coach. He hired Hugh on November 30th. Okay. Mm-hmm. So a lot of, and I would imagine a lot of the calls and whatnot had already been placed. Hugh probably got the job offer after he beat, who was it, Arkansas or BYU that year. Like, it was pretty much going to be his job then. I don't know that I even really buy a ton of the Lane Kiffin stuff at all. It kind of felt like Hugh was going to be the guy, from day one, because that's who the people that matter wanted. And John came in, he got on board, and he's done everything that you could possibly ask for from a head coach, from an athletic director for a head coach to make this job work, make this thing work. and it's made it better for if Hugh does step down or Hugh does leave, for the next guy for it to be looking like a very attractive job. So I put 0. I put 0 on John Cohen. I think he's done a phenomenal job helping build this thing. I think it's been fumbled. I think it's just been fumbled since it's been here, since Hugh's been here, unfortunately. And I'm a Hugh guy, man. I'm a Hugh guy. He's one of my. I'm like hurt. It's like seeing your dad get beat up in a fight. You know what I mean? It's like somebody you've always wanted, and it's just like not working out, and it's like the most awful feeling ever.
Jake Crane said he's got a good relationship with Hugh. He said he texted Hugh and said, "Man, it's getting really hard to keep defending this offense, man. You've got to pull it together at some point." It is. It sounds to me like you think that if it doesn't work out with Hugh, John Cohen is going to get around to it, hiring another football coach.
Yeah.
You think he'll get to hire another one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm fine. I would be. I don't have any problems with that. He's been here long enough now. I don't have any problems with that. I think he's got plenty of time. It was rushed. It was very, very rushed. I don't even know, like, how do you even have time in less than a month to really do interviews and everything that you need to do? That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it was like, hey, you're here, but this is kind of the direction. The wheels are already in motion, and this is what it's going to be. So I don't put anything on John. I think he's made this job more attractive with everything that he's done and helped pump into the football job as a whole, from all the staff, salaries, and everything. I'm totally fine with everything he's done.
Yeah, look, I like John Cohen a lot. I do. So I've got a little bit of a soft spot for John, but we got it. We're tough on everybody, so we have to be fair in doling out the responsibility for what is it's his responsibility to hire the guy. Then it's his responsibility to make sure that the guy he hires has all the resources. You hear him talk a lot about alignment. Do they have alignment? They feel like they had that alignment with Hugh Freeze. Now they just need the results. So the season's not over. It looks bleak, but maybe Auburn Jesus has a little something for us in 2 Saturdays from now. Kyle Rush from the Barn, I want to thank you for joining me. I appreciate your perspective as always, my friend. Before we get out of here, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, find me on at thebarnauburn.com. That's our message board. That's where we get it going. That's where you get in the conversation on recruiting, team news, basketball, baseball, all that good stuff. So check us out there. And then anywhere you get a podcast, just search the Barn Podcast Network.
Yeah, look, follow them. Subscribe on YouTube, please, to the Barn. Support those who support us. We appreciate the great work that you guys are doing, keeping the Auburn community engaged on YouTube. I love me some Barn and some Locked On Auburn here on the Auburn Express. So I appreciate you, my friend. This episode of the Rapport is brought to you by our friends at Golden's Cast Iron. Visit goldenscastiron.com/WR. Use code Get Your Weight Up for 15% off your weights and code TWR for $65 off fire pits and Kamado grills. Workout, grill out, chill out with Golden's Cast Iron. I also want to thank our friends at the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. If you're looking to get fresh for the weekend, the Vibe Vault is the place for you. My guy Steve Watkins serving up fresh cuts for the community, not just barbers, lifestyle consultants. Please go visit the Vibe Vault today. Guys, we want to hear from you. Hit the comments. Let us know. Is it time for Hugh to give up play calling? We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you have to say. Also, how responsible is John Cohen for all of this? Do you think he's the guy to lead Auburn to the promised land? We want to hear from you. And while you're in the comments, do us a favor, smash that super thanks button. Your financial support helps keep the work that we're doing here going. Please hit like and subscribe. We are the War Rapport on every social media platform. TW Rapport on TikTok. We're signing off, and as always, War Eagle.